Hello everybody, welcome back to day 4 of Vlognukah. We are halfway through. I hope you're having a good time. So a couple of days ago, I published a video that was reflecting on it being 1 year since I quit sex ed. And I promised that this would be a follow-up video that is all about my first year as a freelance consultant slash coach. So that was all about like reflecting on like not doing the sex ed stuff anymore, like, you know, the content creation, influencer, YouTuber business side of things that I do. And then this is going to be about the whole new thing that I started this year, my side hustle, or my other part-time job, my freelance gig, whatever we want to call it. Hopefully my future main career, we shall see. So that's what we're going to get into, all of the juicy details of somebody who has literally just like started a new freelance client-facing business this year. Before we get into it, don't forget that I am gifting 3 months of membership to my Patreon, to anybody who signs up to be a free member and comments on these video posts that are on Patreon. So there is a link in the description to the one for this video, and then you'll be able to find the others there too. So there'll be 8 videos in total, so 8 comment sections that you'll be able to comment in, and then I'll be picking 8 random winners from each comment section and shall be distributing the free gifted membership out in early Jan. Links and all the info in the description. Happy Hanukkah. So let's recap. I quit making sex ed content. One of the things that gave me the confidence to be able to do that was realizing what I wanted to do instead. I've definitely had throughout my career on YouTube these moments of just wanting to pack it in, of just being like, I'm done, I need to move on, but not having any idea of what I would want to do other than this. Obviously, I could have just continued being a full-time content creator, like doing this YouTube channel and the social media stuff and whatever else, you know, comes with it, being my full-time job. But I knew that I didn't want that. I really enjoyed having the kind of like creator identity of being a sex educator and having the sex ed YouTube channel, and then having my more like lifestyle YouTube channel as the thing that I do on the side, or like the secondary thing that I do. And then when it comes to this channel, the More Hannah channel, I knew that I wanted to just be able to live my life and then create content about that and my interests. So my priority has always been life first rather than like content first. Life informs content rather than content informs life, if that makes any sense. So the part of this job of being a YouTuber and content creator that I've always loved is the like organization, production schedules, project management, wearing my producer hat and having the structures and systems in place that allow you to like make regular YouTube content. So I started thinking about, how do I make a job out of that, basically? And so that leads us to where I found myself at the beginning of this year, after I'd quit and when I was coming back to work, ready to start my new venture in the exploratory phase. Now, if you allow me to toot my own horn for a minute, but because of my years of experience in this industry and the reputation that I have built over the years, I had a lot of people reaching out to me towards the end of the year after I made the announcement and at the beginning of the year, wanting to figure out if we could work together in some way. These were friends, they were peers, they were colleagues, and then also from a lot of creators that I didn't know before, but creators that had been following my journey and like watching my videos. So that was really cool. And then initially what I did with a lot of these people that had reached out to me was just an hour-long call with them, no fee, nothing. It kind of basically was like market research for me. Like I needed to be able to like spend time with these creators, chat to them for an hour. It was mostly me asking them questions about like where they're at in their business, like what are the things that they need, like how are things currently working, where are some of their like pain points. And really the purpose of those calls was I was trying to figure out 2 things. What is it that creators need, like what are the main things that creators are struggling with, and then what can I offer them, and not just what I can offer them, but what I want to offer them. One of the things I talked about in the other video was kind of like holding myself back a bit this year because we've been trying to conceive all year, and that has played a huge role in me figuring out the kind of structure in terms of the way that I want to work with people or need to work with people because of my current like life situation basically. So I actually went into the beginning of this year thinking that I was going to be like a content project manager. I'd found this like mock-up job description of a content project manager, and just reading it like made me light up. I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. But then from all of the calls that I was doing and the other research that I was doing at the beginning of this year, I actually kind of swiveled and pivoted to thinking, oh, actually what people need and what I can give them like now, like what I'm able to do now is Patreon strategy consultations and just general like mentorship and consulting around YouTube, around content creation and all of that kind of stuff. I did think about doing a project management course at the beginning of the year, but very quickly realized that that was not something that my clients needed and not something that I needed like currently, like right now. And so then I started working with clients. I created this Patreon launch strategy program. I kind of took all of my knowledge. I did a lot more digging and research and came up with this like program that I was doing one-to-one with people in terms of like helping them launch their Patreon pages. And then I was also doing a lot of like one-off hourly consultations with people around anything from Patreon to YouTube, social media, kind of the whole package really. But once I'd started working with people, I noticed that I was using a lot of coaching techniques with people that had been used on me when I had seen a coach. People weren't just coming to me directly for advice, which is what I kind of see consulting as, like you're giving your professional opinion, your professional advice because you have knowledge and experience. But actually without knowing it, what a lot of people were coming to me for, what it seemed that they really benefited from was the accountability, the encouragement, a safe and non-judgmental place to just think, reassurance, somebody to bounce ideas around with, someone to ask them good questions so that they can really dig into how they feel about something, someone to help them organize their own thoughts and help them figure out their own solutions to things. And all of that to me is what coaching is. That's what coaching does. So in this exploratory phase, I figured out a few things. One, that I had lots to offer creators. So that was really good to know at the beginning of like, I'm not being completely delusional, but there is something here and I have value to give to people. I figured out that one-on-one hourly sessions worked best for me in terms of my ideal work-life structure and my priorities, more so than like a project manager producer role. And that's just more because it is the case of the hourly sessions I can dial up or dial down depending on family and health circumstances, whereas a project manager, like producer role, you're more like working with one individual, maybe one or two longer term, and like maybe doing like 2 or 3 days a week with one person. And so whilst that's something that still intrigues me longer term, like maybe being somebody who plays a key role behind the scenes for somebody else's YouTube channel, that I feel is something that I may like build up to naturally. And it also really depends on the person, right? So it also kind of has to be somebody that I've maybe built up a professional relationship with over a long period of time, and then we start working together in that capacity, if that makes sense. I also very much discovered that I prefer working with established creators who feel like that they're at some sort of crossroad. I have done consulting for people who are curious about like starting out on YouTube, but that just personally like doesn't interest me as much as working with somebody who's kind of like already done all of that, and then now like, okay, but what do I want longer term? Like, I need to make a decision here. What do I want to do about XYZ? Like, I helped one established creator in the lead up to her having a baby and like taking some mat leave and kind of, you know, helping her with her content before that and figuring out like what kind of she would want to do after that too. So that's one of the kinds of situations that I feel like I can make a real impact with, and also just the kinds of problems and stuff that I enjoy helping people work through. And I realized that I wanted to explore coaching more. So I ended up doing this week-long course that was called Intensive Coaching Skills. I'll leave a link to it in the description if anyone is interested in having a look at it. But that was a week-long in-person course of just practically like getting in and learning coaching skills and just practicing them. And that was very cool, and also just like very reassuring to me that that was something that I wanted to do more of. And the same people I did that course with do certification courses. So very likely from January, I'm going to be starting doing my ILM 7 certification in executive coaching mentoring or something, I think it's called. I'll learn it eventually. But essentially what that means is that I just need to get like in hours of coaching, I get supervision, and I have to do some like written assignments as well. So very much looking forward to doing more of that. These courses are pricey though, but speaking of money, let's talk about prices, because this is something that all freelancers deal with, which is like, how much do I charge? Like, what do I charge people? How do I figure out how much? Like, how many clients do I need? Do I do packages? Like, what's going on? Like, when do I increase my rates? All of these questions. And I had them all too. Do I have it all figured out? No, not by any means. But I had done some consulting before this year, like very rarely one-offs, a couple of creators that wanted to like pick my brain kind of consulting. And then also I'd done consulting for brands. And so I already had like a range, like a benchmark of pricing that I'd already used. But also I was aware that I was starting a new thing and very much still in the, you know, exploratory phase. I'd always charged more for brands when it came to consulting rather than like individual creators. So I started with that lower end of my price range that I'd used previously. So I started there, but also at the beginning, I was basically giving everyone mates rates and also like first client discounts. But as the year has gone on, I have had some clients paying the full rates. I also have done like discounts for creators maybe not earning as much money, or if they are queer or trans in the sex and relationship space, then I will factor that into things as well. I think ideally in the future, I would want to have some sort of like a system sliding scale where I kind of say, this is my range, and just give it to the other person in terms of like, you know, I trust you, like you pick, basically. But I think I would have to like cap it in terms of like, you know, like I have X many spots for like the lower tier, if that makes sense. I don't know. Again, I need to look into how like sliding scale stuff all works. But currently where I'm at, because it's been like 1 year and I do want to feel like I'm going into the year with higher rates, because I have been doing this for a year. So my rates are going to go up in January, and also kind of present more information on my website about what the offerings are and what the services are. And so it's like not just about pricing, but also like adjusting the offerings. I found this blog post from a freelancer who does like dog training, where they've got this whole blog post about how to figure out like what calculations you need to do to figure out how many clients you need. So I'm planning on going through that and doing all of those calculations, because you just kind of like plug in like how many clients you have at what package and how much they paid, and then you then take the number in terms of like what your ideal income is, and then you work backwards from there. So pricing is a minefield, but currently where I'm at is that in this year I have done 4 Patreon launch strategy packages, all of them at discounted rates, because they were either like the first person or they were friends and like people that I knew. And so I've done lots of Patreon launch strategy, but everyone's had a little cheeky discount. And then with the other one-to-ones that I've done, most people had just like a one-off 1 hour session, but the maximum amount of sessions that somebody had was 6. But the average across everybody that I worked with this year was 2. But I definitely know that I prefer the kind of working relationship that you can build when you have more than one session. When you have a one-off session, there is this like certain pressure for that person to like get their money's worth and get all of the answers that they need. Often with those one-off sessions, I feel people like coming with their list, and there's like this pressure of like being able to like answer all their questions and deliver. Whereas if you know, have more sessions, there's a bit more breathing room to really kind of like dig a bit deeper into things and not just feel like you're like ticking things off somebody's list, but actually like getting to know them and really kind of trying to unearth like actually what their priorities are and like what it is that they actually want, and maybe how they can help themselves also in finding some of the answers that they need. I was thinking about possibly just like dropping the one-off 1 hour and like not offering it at all, but that is still, especially when I feel like I'm still in early days of it, the majority of the people that I've worked with have just had one session. So I don't feel like quite ready to like remove that yet, but I know going forwards that I think I ideally want to try and like have people for longer. But in total, I've had 20 clients this year, maybe 21 now, because I've got one in my future, maybe a couple more, because a few people have reached out recently. So we'll see. But as it currently stands at the time of me recording this, 20 clients, which I feel very happy with. I feel like that's pretty decent. And so the next thing for me to do now really is figure out my 2025 prices and actually kind of like put up services on my website, figure out like packages. So like, you know, an hour costs this. If you book for 3 hours, then obviously you get like a slight discount. If you book 6, then you get more of a discount. And speaking of updating my website, thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Was that smooth? Was that smooth? Yes, my website is hosted on Squarespace, and we have been tweaking it and editing it and, you know, making it reflect my new work all year. And then we've got these other changes that we want to make to it now, like creating actual pages that, you know, actually describe my services and what I do. So whether you are just starting out in the freelance world, kind of like myself, or you're a small business owner, Squarespace makes it super easy for anyone to build their own beautiful websites, engage their audience, and sell anything from digital and physical products to courses and even your time, all in one place and all on your terms. Squarespace has tons of beautiful website templates. You find the one that is right for you and you can customize it with all of your own branding and assets and content. And there are loads of different features that you can add depending on what your needs are, and you can really make any template do whatever it is that you want, and they work seamlessly across all devices. And Squarespace's new design intelligence empowers anyone to build their own beautiful website that is personalized and tailored to you using AI technology. And Squarespace Payments makes it really easy to have an online store and manage all of your payments. The onboarding is really fast and simple, and there are loads of different options for how your customers can pay. And Squarespace also has invoicing. So you can manage clients and keep track of invoices all in one place, simplifying your workflows and making it really easy as a service-based business. So you can head to squarespace.com to start your free trial, and then when you are ready to launch into the world, you can go to squarespace.com/morehannah to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. By the time you're seeing this, I'm like, will we have updated the website? Because obviously we are knee deep in vlognukah right now, and then after vlognukah, like the website is the next priority, but it might be an early January job. We shall see, we shall see. So next I wanted to talk about some of my wins this year and some of my fears. The wins and the fears, healthy balance of both. So initially, when a request comes in, I am hit with fear and dread. Great, good start. My initial response is, oh my God, I do not know the answers to what this person is asking. I am the wrong person. I do not know enough. Why are they even coming to me? I am the wrong person. I can't help them. After speaking to them, after having the call, I'm like, oh, I know my shit. And I feel really confident and I get good feedback because I do feel like all of the calls have gone very well. And one of the things that we shall be adding to the website is testimonials. So it's not just me being like, I swear I'm really good at this. But I do feel like I'm slowly but surely trusting myself, and that when people come to me for help, it's because like they've identified me as somebody who has the answers, or not even has the answers, but just like has the skills to help them get to the answers as well. The coaching course was a real win. I really loved it, and I did feel like I was getting it. I felt like I was good at it, at least for somebody who is very much at the beginning of that journey. Some of my fears and concerns going forward is balancing the coaching and the consulting, especially in terms of balancing people's expectations and what they want from me. Because I do feel like a lot of people come to me wanting consultant Hannah. They want me to give them all of the answers, but the truth is that like I don't have all of the answers. I've got some like knowledge and insight and experience, but also personally, I definitely enjoy the kind of coaching mode more than the consulting mode. Like the consulting mode is like ask a question, they want your answer, but I'm like, my answers are often very vague because they're like, well, you know, this is what worked for me. This is what works for other people. It might work differently for you. And like, there is no one size fits all when it comes to this career. So in that sense, I find that consulting can be quite limited. Whereas with coaching, it kind of opens it up and throws it back to the other person to really take ownership of figuring it out. And the coach's job is to kind of help facilitate a space for them to think and bounce ideas off and reflect, and really to dig into like what it is that they really want and what is in their power and control to do, and for them to really like own that. And so next year, I know that there's going to be a bit of this expectations managing and like balance figuring out, that I'm not sure like how that's going to go, because I've got my own personal agenda, which is that I want to practice my coaching skills and I need to get in some coaching hours for my certification, versus other people's agenda. And you know, a lot of the time I'm getting emails in that are like, how do I grow my YouTube? How do I monetize? And in those situations, you know, can only help to an extent, and they're not really looking for like coaching relationship, even though they may well benefit from that as well, even though they're going into it being like, I have these questions and you have the answers. So I think that'll be interesting, and kind of like one of my goals for next year is to start to hopefully see the balance shift in consulting clients versus coaching clients. And obviously there can always be a bit of a hybrid, but I just have to be really clear to myself and the person who I'm working with in terms of which hat I am wearing. I can go, okay, right, coaching hat off, like let me get into consulting mode just because I have a piece of information that I know that you don't, that may be useful for you. So that's something that I'm kind of concerned about, but also hoping that it will just like eventually figure itself out. I think as well with the people that come to me with the questions of, how do I grow on YouTube or social media, and like how do I monetize? Part of me just thinks like those answers are out there, and there are people that know more than me who can help you with that. But I actually doing myself a disservice, and do I know more than I think that I know about those things? Because I do often find that my initial response to when I know that someone wants to kind of cover those themes is, oh, this again. Maybe I need to just create like a PDF that's like, how do I monetize content on the internet? But it's also just like always changing. So will it be relevant like 6 months after I make it? I don't know. But am I not giving myself enough credit? Is it like a fear that's holding me back because I worry that actually I don't have good answers to those questions and I won't be able to help people with that? Or do I actually need to kind of listen more to myself and be a bit more selfish in terms of actually, I don't care, which sounds so brutal, but I should be working with creators who are facing issues where like I feel a bit more personally invested. Do I need to feel personally invested? I mean, that would be nice. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. But it is also one of those things where there's the difference between before the call and then during the call. Like I definitely enjoy the calls more than I enjoy the lead up to them, which is interesting. So that'll be interesting to figure out. I do find coaching more freeing, less daunting. Like I don't have that like, oh no, am I gonna have all of the right answers for this person? Like leading up to something that's going to be a more coaching relationship. I really get excited by the idea of like working through goals and motivations and like what's blocking people and what's holding people back and like trying to work through those things and helping clients figure out what their next steps are going to be. And that feels like a more like collaborative relationship where I'm kind of there to like ask good questions and give guidance rather than like, I am the knowledgeable, all-knowing one and you've come to me to pay me for answers. Like I do prefer, I think, the coaching thing. So we'll see how that goes. I'm obviously still going to be doing some consulting still next year. I very much still feel like I'm in the mode of kind of going where I'm needed. And then hopefully as I continue, I get to a place where I kind of go, actually, I don't need to do that anymore. And I'm just going to go where I want to go, if that makes sense. It's a gradual process. One of my wins, I will say, was I did a lot of Patreon research at the beginning of this year. And I'm also very much trying to keep up to date with a lot of the platform changes because there are a lot. And so I think especially for my Patreon strategy clients, that is more of a consulting role and I need to be like up to date on like what's going on the platform, what are they releasing, what is the platform focusing on, what kind of strategies work best, what do Patreon recommend, because all of that is like valuable information that I will share with clients whilst we work through their Patreon strategy. And the Patreon stuff is the area of consulting that does excite me. Like for that, I genuinely like keen to hopefully go in a direction where I become like a real expert in it. And so I want to continue my like expertise development, continue my learning. And Patreon have so many resources and I'm a Patreon creator ambassador. So I've got lots of access to other like workshops and webinars that they put on, but because of time zones, I'm never able to attend them live. And then it's about finding the time in my own schedule to then go and watch them. And so that is one of those classic situations where that is like dropped to the bottom of the list. That I want to be a priority of mine next year, especially because in my head, I'm like, oh, I would love for my like service-based business to be like I do a Patreon strategy program and I also offer coaching for content creators. So I want those to be my like two areas. I want to be a really good coach and I want to know my shit about Patreon. Got my niche specialties. So that's a lot of my like wins and fears that have been happening this year and some of my like concerns going forward. But what's next? So coaching certification next year, ILM 7. I'm gonna do it. I was worried about signing up for something like this and then like possibly getting pregnant, but I feel like I've been holding myself back enough in so many other areas that I'm like, I just need to do it. I just need to sign up for it. And they've told me that it is very flexible. And so if I do need to like take a step back, then like that's fine. And then I can restart again. So I'm like hoping that I can do it. I may not be able to finish it next year, but I'm gonna start it next year. Website with actual information about my services, offerings, description, testimonials, TBC on if I'm putting prices out there, especially because I want to figure out if I do a sliding scale. So I don't really know what the etiquette is, I guess, or the common practice of like, do you put the range on the website or is it just inquire now and people inquire and then you tell them the pricing? I don't know. I'm also trying to figure out if I finally give in and use Calendly because currently our system is that inquiries come through email and they go to my assistant Moog and then Moog has a list of follow-up questions and information gathering to get from people and then it goes into our Notion database and into like my like Notion inbox where I see it and then I will have a read of everything and decide what I want to kind of like offer that person and I will reach out to them if I want to work with them basically. And then we email back and forth to like figure out what we want to do and timing. And like that works fine and it feels really bespoke and it feels really lovely and it means that we can like really, you know, figure out what it is that people want. But do I want to streamline that? Do I want to get Calendly involved? Do I want to be like book a free 15 minutes consultation? Part of me worries about just like sticking a Calendly like link out there that it's gonna get like overbooked or people are going to abuse it, especially just because I'm a lifestyle creator, but I'm like, is that a fake worry? I don't know. So I don't know. So a lot of that is like TBC and need to figure out. And a lot of it is around like personal boundaries and just like figuring out what I'm okay with or not. And then research and professional development, definitely want to continue to keep up to date with Patreon stuff and continue that and watch the webinars and workshops that I miss because of time zones. And there are some coaching related non-fiction books that were recommended during the course that I did. And so I think that will be really helpful and like complementary alongside doing the course and having supervision and all of that. So those are my priorities in terms of like professional development and learning. And then of course, what's next? I'm still TTC baby, still trying to conceive. So still very much in that limbo of like wanting to like take things up a notch, wanting to take things to the next level because it's been a year and I feel ready, but then also like still feeling like there is a baby glass ceiling, if you will, of like, oh, I can't like go too hard because what if I get pregnant? So fun, lots to consider. Hurry the fuck up. But I have some questions from my patrons. So let's see. What were some of your anxieties about being a freelance consultant that didn't end up being a big deal? Ooh, I think I was probably worried that like no one would want to work with me. Just that like I was being completely delusional and no one would pay for my services. So that was definitely not a big deal because I have the proof that people wanted to work with me. So that's great. All right, this is like many questions under one question. So how is the new business going? And then we've got all of these sub questions. Are you still in the phase of doing friendship prices with first customers? So no longer like giving discounts to everybody, basically. But if it's somebody who is a really good friend, then yes, like I will give them mates rates. And then again, depending on people's like financial situations or the type of content they make, I might offer a discount. But yeah, that's why I'm thinking of sliding scale it, just like putting it in their court rather than mine and just being like this. I don't know. Have you figured out your hours and your prices yet? So yes, sort of. So I think I've got there with the pricing for next year, but I just don't know about the sliding scale yet. So what I need to do is I need to do the calculations about like how many clients that I need, and then I need to do calculations of like how many people can I afford to take on at a lower rate? How many people do I need at a higher rate to be able to subsidize the lower rate? Do you know what I mean? So I would like to have a bit more of an idea of how many hours I need to do or want to do, and so how many clients that I need per year, per month. So far this year it's been all very ad hoc. It's just been like as and when. I'm like, would it be useful for me if I was like Monday afternoons is client facing work, and when, you know, that kind of thing, in the same way that when it's not vlognukah, I'm like Tuesday mornings I'm filming, like 90% of the time I'm film on a Tuesday morning. So I don't know. Do you feel confident in your work? Yes, most of the time, yes. Has it evolved from doing Patreon launches? Yes. So that is still very much a part of what I do and I really enjoy doing that. And then there's also the general consulting and coaching around being a content creator or a freelance creative. Is your partnership with your customers more long-term or short-term? So definitely currently more short-term. Other than the Patreon launches, they last like 3 months. The Patreon launches is like how long that program is that I invented, that I just created from my head. But most of the like one-off 1 hour stuff has been short-term, but I would like to make those longer term ideally. So overall, to answer your question, how is the business going? I think it's going good. I think for a year one, I'm very pleased. Did you find a way to create a system in your freelance work that leaves you content without anxiety that you are wasting your time while you could be searching for clients / doing calls, etc.? In other words, do you ask yourself, am I doing enough? Great question. We love getting existential. So I've been very lucky, but also, is it luck or is it just a testament to all of the work that I've put in previously? Which is that I haven't had to seek out new clients. I haven't done any marketing. Obviously, though, in a way, whenever I do these like behind the scenes videos and talk about the freelancing, consulting, coaching work that I do in something like this, it is a form of marketing technically. Like this kind of stuff is going to possibly appeal to the people who would want to work with me, but I've not done any like direct marketing outside of just like talking about the behind the scenes of the business on this channel. So that's been really good that I haven't had to do that, and people have just come to me based on, you know, what they already know about me and recommendations, or, you know, having seen my videos before or whatever it might be. I should probably find that out, shouldn't I? Like, how did you learn about me? But I think for the most part, I'm content with the systems and the structure that we've built around it. My husband, Dan, actually was the one that helped me figure out how to build the Notion database to like organize clients and the process there in terms of what I needed, because I was just like, wait, what is the system that I need? Like, I know like technically how to build a Notion database, but I was like, but what is it I actually need? And so that's working really well in terms of the systems. I would like to build in a bit more time, as I've said, for Patreon research, but I also think it's just kind of like happening. Like I do just kind of do it as and when currently, which is also working quite well, but hopefully maybe having a bit more like dedicated time to it as well. Like I did at the beginning of the year, like I really like went in and spent a lot of time on Patreon research at the beginning of the year, like before I started working with Patreon strategy clients. So yeah, I do feel like I'm doing enough. And I'm also very grateful that I don't have to do much like marketing and outreach yet, currently. We'll see. Have you worked with any mentors / coaches as part of moving toward a freelance coaching career? So no, I haven't actually. I think because I've just been in this like exploratory mode for most of the year, I've just been kind of making it up and seeing what feels good and plodding along and, you know, just kind of being a bit more like reactive to like what people reach out to me for and what people want. I did have a discovery call with somebody who is like a business coach, like a financial coach kind of person, to help with pricing and packages. But in terms of like how much that I earned from this work this year and what her fees were, I just couldn't justify working with her to figure that out, even though like maybe long term it would work out. But currently can't justify the cost of that, and so continuing to figure out the pricing by myself, which is fine. And I think as well it comes back to the fact that I'm in this like trying to get pregnant limbo phase, and so I'm not going all in. And maybe when I eventually feel ready, whenever that may be, to really commit and go all in, that'll be when I bring on a coach, a mentor, like hire a consultant to help me like figure out my pricing. SEO is a big thing as well, like for my website. I think that's probably something that I will need to focus on in terms of like getting new clients and maybe getting the kinds of clients that I really want to work with. And then of course like LinkedIn strategy and all of this. So there's definitely a lot of room for me to like work with people externally to like help me build out all of these different parts of my business and like figure out what it is that I want and help with stuff. But I don't feel like I'm there yet because I'm holding myself back, let's be real, because I'm trying to get pregnant and I am not yet pregnant. So that is where we're at 1 year into this business. Hope you enjoyed this little kind of like behind the scenes look at how this year has gone and my plans for it moving forwards and all of my thoughts. If you're also a freelancer or somebody who runs like a service-based business, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments if some of the things that I talked about are things that you think about, worries that you have, or you know, if you've got any of your own solutions to things, of things that have worked for you in terms of figuring out all of this stuff, especially like when you're at the beginning, and how are things going for you? Don't forget to check out the Patreon gifting giveaway thing going on. Info and links in the description, and I'll see you tomorrow for another vlognukah video. Bye! And don't forget to subscribe so I maybe hit 100k on this YouTube channel one day.